Hello, sons and daughters of my mothers. You will not believe it, but the coolest kids in Africa right now are Kenyans. Here's why. So days ago, deadly protests broke out all over the country, led by young people as usual, trying to stop their future from being used as collateral to serve the extravagance of leaders. Normal African leader doing. The short of it is that the government is owing plenty money, and in order to pay it, government is like, we'll have to increase tax on citizens to help us pay off this debt. Like collecting a job to pay for money you didn't know how it was spent in the first place. Investor moves. Meanwhile, the actual people that spent the money, the officials, refused to take a pay cut to reduce cost of governance and raise money. Smart people. The government would have gotten away with this as usual. But unfortunately or fortunately, Kenya has way too many young people in their population who refuse to fall for the sweet mouth of eloquent Mr. Ruto, nor did they care about tribe or parties like people in some countries do. So they took to the streets in their maximum steeze and composure and said, "We die here." After days of serious face-off between angry youths and the government, and after a couple of people have been murdered, the government finally folded and withdrew the finance bill. It's just like what happened here in 2020 when the young people of Nigeria realized that they are just the oppressed people of Nigeria. They forgot their differences, came together and said enough is enough and asked the government to scrap SARS. Although they quickly reset back to default settings by going back again to remember all their differences just in time for the elections. Because when you look at it, the finance bill which the people of Kenya are fighting so seriously against was supposed to usher in the kind of economic hardship that, guess what, we here have accepted it, swallowed it, and opened our mouths for more. As a young African, I'm happy for the people of Kenya. Protests like this are not usually just about the immediate thing being protested against. It's a general realization of people power, and it has a way of empowering the people for other issues that have needed attention for ages. We were supposed to lead the way in these things, but now maybe we can learn a thing or two from our brothers and sisters in Kenya. Young people realizing that it is in their hands to grab their futures and steer it away from the nonsense that the people from the 60s have placed it in is the whole point of this mantra, which I always use. The beautiful ones are here now. After most African countries got independent in the 1960s, it took just a few years of mad moves from our leaders to convince Aikwe Ahmad that the beautiful ones are not yet born. This simply meant that the thing they were hoping for, the country they wanted to have, the continent, the Africa they wanted, was not going to be a reality with the crop of criminals they had as leaders. The leaders or the crop of people who came into power then were not the messiahs that the people hoped they were. So that is where we come in, this generation. I know there is something about us. I'm absolutely convinced. We don't care much about where we are coming from. We care more about where we are headed. That's the key difference. I hope so, because the reality looks very sad indeed. There are people on Twitter right now, with everything that is going on, still reducing every discussion about the state of the nation to tribal differences. Meanwhile, multinationals are leaving the country because they cannot sustain businesses. Multinational companies are supposed to have a lot of leverage, they are supposed to have a lot of money, they are supposed to be able to ride out a few years of bad business. But leaving, that's only if they think the ship is sinking for real. Meanwhile, the same people responsible for sinking our ship, what are they doing? Nothing, except from wearing designer clothing to public events to declare that the next election has already been done and dusted, and to hint us at who will be removed and who will not be allowed to contest, and to threaten all of us that what happened last time, in which some convenient amount of votes were allowed to count for some opponent, would not happen again. But I'm digressing. This video was not supposed to be this long. I just wanted to congratulate my fellow young people in Kenya and to inform them that we in Nigeria don't mind them helping us to hold the Giant of Africa title for just a minute. Because here, we are just scared little giants whose houses are leaking or who are busy playing.